Dave, you're totally blank right now. I'm not hearing anything coming from you.
What? What do you
There
mean?
you go. Now you're good. I didn't hear anything you just said.
Please edit this.
I will.
Welcome everybody to the Chinchilla Picking Podcast. It is January the 4th, 2026 at 3:15 p.m. As always, we hope to be entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. My name is David Underwood, and I'm joined by the one and only, the Baron of Bonds himself, Brandon Beaver. Brandon, we have been having technical difficulties and microphone difficulties and recording difficulties, and I think it's just because it's our first day back after a few weeks.
It's been just 1 week, Dave.
It's
I was
not
just
been
here last week.
no. So
Oh,
I told
that's
Brandon
right. I
I
was
told
on muscle
Brandon
relaxers.
yes
Okay.
I told Brandon we would talk about this right away and just talk about the elephant in the room. Um, so we know our listeners. We apologize. We
Oh,
have
you're going to
been
talk about me, the elephant in the room, Dave, and call
yes,
me
yes.
fat?
You need. Hey, it's January 1st. Lose some weight. No, we want to apologize. We were off for a few weeks. That's not just on Brandon. That's also on myself. I could have got on and did a quick 10-15 minute podcast.
Well,
That is
true.
my fault as well. I did that 1 week. We missed a few weeks. It was the holidays. I was going through. I'm dealing with some my own personal issues. I used that time to handle that and work on those things. Um, but I'm happy Brandon is back. I'm happy we are back as Chinchilla Picking, and this is our first podcast back. Brandon's got his new mic. We had mic issues before the break. Our holiday break is what I'm going to call it. Now Brandon has a brand new mic to start the year. I still got my same old mic. We just need to get Brandon a light like I have, one of these ring lights, which I use, which are fantastic. And we'll get Brandon one of those here too as well. But Brandon, welcome back, man.
Thank
How
you.
are you feeling? What's going on? Are you
Oh,
okay?
man. So I've had a neck injury since I was about 16 years old. And every couple of years it flares up. Every time it happens, it seems to get worse. Um, I have severe spinal stenosis and disc degenerative disease in vertebrae C3 through C6. And the question that we had this time was, am I going to have spinal fusion surgery? It's still kind of up in the air. But as you can see, I'm doing a lot better, right? So that's good. I still have tingliness in my right arm. I'm starting to get a little tingliness in my left arm, which is weird. But it's been mostly my right side. I mean, this whole arm was just like pain. My trap muscle here was in pain. It felt like my forearm muscle was going to explode. I slept for the first 3 weeks of this. I slept maybe 3 hours, 4 hours in the first 3 weeks, which is crazy. You don't understand what the impact of sleep deprivation does on somebody until you actually go through it yourself.
I've been there.
And I got to tell you, half the time I wasn't even tired because the pain just kept me awake
Yeah.
because it was so bad.
Now, I didn't have sleep deprivation because of pain, but yes, I've been there, and yeah, you are so tired, and yeah, you get irritated very quickly.
So we're going back right now to physical therapy, which this time I'm going to do for longer than I have done in the past. And then I haven't done the epidural shots yet that are supposed to help with the pain. So we're going to try that this time. My like trepidation and all this, I don't want to do the surgery, first of all. But, and this is when I got a follow up appointment on the 16th with my spinal specialist. And this is what I'm going to talk to her about. Like, if I'm going to have to do it, I'd rather do it now than do it when in 10 years. I'm 40. I'm
Yeah,
40 years old. Every day that goes by, I'm getting older and healing
you're
slower.
old. You're 40.
Yeah. I
Wow.
just turned, that was my birthday on November 30th. I was 40. I spent it in immense pain. It was awful. Um, but yeah, I don't want to do a surgery. I'd rather do a surgery at 40 than at 50, right? But here's the downside to this with spinal fusion. I got to quit vaping and I got to quit smoking. This is a cigar. Um, which, by the way, Dave, goes in direct contradiction to my New Year's resolution, which was to eat more and smoke more because they
That
relax me.
yeah, I keep
Feel better.
trying. This is an inside joke between Brandon and I because I keep trying to get Brandon to come to the gym with me and eat less and quit smoking and be healthy with me, and he won't.
I'm still having pain, and I'm still like in
Sparkling
discomfort.
water. This is what I drink now. No alcohol. Haven't had alcohol in forever. Sparkling water.
That's good. I like that.
That's
I
my
like
drink of
that. I
choice.
haven't had
Kroger
alcohol.
brand. Not even the fancy brand. I make all this money. And Brandon, what do? I spend it on Kroger brand
You're
sparkling water. I don't even get
basically,
like LaCroix or something.
yeah, you're drinking club soda now. It's a good choice.
That's what's the point of having all my money if this is what I spend it on?
Yeah, well, I
I
mean,
will say this is a $500 sweater. There you
I
go.
always say, what's the point of having a bunch of money if you just spend it?
I mean, there's I've heard that argument as well. Like, you need to keep your money for retirement, or you need to keep your money for this or that. And well, it's like today. Today I went out and I met with an artist, and we're gonna meet later on tonight after the show, and I go on my run, and I'm gonna commission an art piece, and that's what I'm spending my money on. Is they're doing an art piece for me, so.
I just spent a bunch of money on sports cards on Friday. I can't talk. I can't talk. And I did not get my money back on it, which is fine. I don't expect that out of the sports card hobby anymore.
Yeah.
I'm intelligent enough to know that most of it's a waste of money. I just love it. I love
All
doing
right.
it. So,
So let's transition this into stocks and investments. And I got a good transition because first, let's go to rules. Rules. If you're a new listener, that we do have rules to this podcast, and the rules are Brandon and I talk to each other, and we tell each other what we're going to talk about 5 to 10 minutes before the show. You actually hear the live back and forth, the bicker and the banter right here on the show for you. Well, some things that I collect that are now worth a ton more are my gold and silver coins. I have lots of gold and silver coins. Now, my gold coins are in a bank deposit reserve box, whatever you call it, bank deposit box at a bank. That's very secure. And my really rare silver coins are there as well. Um, but those silver coins, a lot of those silver coins, when I bought them, silver was like $17 an ounce. And these are all 1 ounce coins, right? I have a like 1 5 ounce bar and a bunch of 1 ounce coins. So now those coins, which I bought and I paid like $50 for because they're actual minted coins from either US Mint, British Mint, some other mint, right? Now they are worth more just in the silver weight than what I paid for them back in the day, just because the price of silver has jumped up tremendously. It's like at $80 an ounce. It's ridiculous.
it's more than a barrel of oil, which is an anomaly in history.
Right? I could take 1 ounce of silver and buy a barrel of oil with that 1 ounce of silver.
Right.
That's crazy to think of. And we're going to get into the cost of oil here in a second. Gold has also had a run up as well. When I first bought my first gold anything, it was at $2,000 an ounce. It's now over $4,500 an ounce. So these investments I bought, and I bought them not to keep or play around with or dive in like Scrooge McDuck into my pile of gold, but I bought these in the so that I would have something to leave to my daughter, because at the time when I first started buying these, I didn't have a lot, right? I was just starting to come up. I was starting to be. I wasn't where I'm at now, but I was at a point where I was like, okay, I want some assets, right? I want something, and the silver coins was within my reach, and smaller gold pieces were within my reach, and I was able to have something so I could leave my daughter something, And now thank you for blowing smoke into the camera. Now I have. I'm in a different position where I can, leave my daughter, private commissioned art pieces and all these rare books that I own and all these kind of other cool stuff that I'm going to be leaving her. So it's all different perspective as we grow, and what we want for our listeners is I want for all of you to get to that point as well. I want you to start off where you're at, wherever you're at. DM us. We'll work with you. And we'll give you we'll answer whatever questions you have. We have a couple listeners who ask us questions a lot of times over the years. We have some listeners who have asked us questions one time and never heard from them again. So whatever questions you have, we'll answer them as best as we can, maybe on the show, maybe not. And we'll try to help you get where we're at, where we're growing. Brandon's investment portfolio has grown 10, I would say 10 times since we started this podcast, at least 10 times. 10 times the amount has grown for Brandon.
Wouldn't
I
say
know
10
from
times, but it's been pretty spectacular. I'll say
yeah, I
that.
would
Like
say
I
since
beat the market pretty handily.
yeah, I would say since 2020, mine has not quite grown 10 times, but it's definitely I'm at a new level. I'm on a new level. Isn't that a rap song? I'm on a new level.
Yeah, you know what it's all been? It's literally all just been buying the corrections of the market for me. That's given me
A lot
almost
of
all
it
of my money.
has. A lot of it has. We've been watching. We have our ones that we watch. We have our watches. We have those sectors that we're good at. Like for me, I watch oil all the time. Oil is always on my radar, which we're going to get into here in a second. But yeah, these we have these things and we stay disciplined. This is what I talked about on TikTok and Instagram yesterday. Staying disciplined, staying within your parameters, and just being that consistent approach, consistency over and over and over again.
You know, I've in the past I've consistently like concerned myself with recessions and depressions and corrections and such. And literally the past 10 years, if you look at like 2018, and then I think it was 2022, the last time we had a down market, I'm looking back at my history. Those were my best years.
Oh, dude, that's when I killed it. That's when I killed it. Is in down markets.
Yeah.
That's when I'm going in there. I'm backing up the truck and I'm just buying,
Right. I'm not,
buy.
and I'm not shorting anything. There's been a couple of times where I've bet on UVXY and a couple of short ETFs in the short term, but that's negligible. And
Yeah,
it's all
I have
been
a short right now on UVXY, which I held over the weekend. Stupid me, but I have it longer out. It's not like next week it's expiring on its option. It's not next week
that's good.
expiring on Friday. I have it longer out,
I
so I'm
don't think
okay.
I don't
It's
think we're going to have necessarily a down market on Monday.
I don't think we are either. I think it's going to pay off for me probably by the end of next week. I'm going to cash
Right.
out that, and I'm going to be cashing out at 3 or 4 times of my money. But anyways, in a down market, I buy.
Yeah, we might have volatility, but I don't even know that that'll be a big deal by
No,
Monday. I
no.
don't know.
So let's get into it.
We'll
Let's
see.
get into it. Everybody wants to know Chinchilla Picking's thoughts on Venezuela. What happened? If you don't know, we don't talk politics here, but we talk about how politics affects the stock and investment market, and that's how we view these things is through a stock and investment lens. And how do we make money off of this? What do we invest in based off the events that are happening around the world? That's how we view it. So if it seems like they're viewing it very harsh, apolitical, very yes, we are a third party. We're stepping away from the actual event, and we're just saying how do we invest off of this news. So
Right.
the actual event, what it is, just the facts. That's all we stick to on here. Is the United States went in there. They bombed a few places in Caracas, Venezuela. They went ahead and took the president of Venezuela at the time, Maduro, and his wife, and they brought them back as prisoners, and they're going to, I believe, be arraigned on some kind of charge in the United States. So that is what happened.
Sure.
Now, how does that affect the markets, and how does that affect everything that's going on? Brandon, go ahead. I've been talking a lot so far. Go ahead.
Well, I think initially you might see a little bit of a jump in Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, but I mean, these missiles that were used to bomb Venezuela were bought years ago with contracts that were, made a while ago.
I
And
don't see any jump in them necessary. It was a few
well,
missiles, and we
I,
have such a big stockpile.
so China's come out against this, Russia's come out against this. There might be a jump in it just based on geopolitical instability for it, or the idea of geopolitical instability. But
I
it's
don't
not
think
like the
there is
government.
any.
I mean, there might be a thought of it. Let's just wait and see. We get just. I'm not telling people to buy based on this. I don't think that's a good reason to buy either of these companies at this point. I think Lockheed Martin's still a decent long-term hold. It hasn't performed very well the past couple of years. But anyways, the government just didn't go to the missile store on Thursday night, buy a missile, and then use that missile. That's not what happened here.
I like the missile store analogy here.
Yeah.
But here's my thought. Here's why I'm not too concerned. All right, because we're going to get into this eventually, right? It's over with. It's done. It's over with. There's no prolonged attack. There's no troops on the ground. There's none of this. The United States went in. They went out.
Not yet.
There is condemnation from certain countries. Yes, there's also other countries that are like, look, we're withholding this. Our viewpoint, we're looking more into it, detailed, yada yada yada. It looks like everybody wants to take a standoffish approach, which is what's best for the markets. And so, from a stock market financial perspective, when you see countries coming out and taking a standoffish approach, besides the ones that were known to be allies of that country, everybody else in the world's like, I kind of didn't see anything. I'm looking the other way. Didn't happen. Then that's good for the markets. That means it's good. Everything's just going to roll right on through, and we're going to move right back into normal.
So Trump said that we're going to run Venezuela until we get a peaceful transition and until somebody else is able to step in that we approve of, essentially. This is a country that has been failing. It's got failing infrastructure, failing economics. 10 to 20% of the groceries are bought using Bitcoin. I'd expect that's going to go higher. I think Bitcoin goes higher on the news if it hasn't already. I haven't looked at it. I haven't checked. I guess I should have looked at the price of Bitcoin.
So price of Bitcoin immediately after at the time the news was announced, it did drop.
I don't think that's going to last.
But let me finish my statement, man. But then it jumped by Saturday evening. It was already back up and actually went higher.
Yeah, there you go.
So it actually went higher and is still currently higher at 92,000 right now.
Right. So you've got other companies, KBR. This is actually like this. I'm going to call this my top buy for this situation, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. We're going to have to stabilize this country. We're going to have to stabilize the logistics. We're going to have to stabilize the infrastructure. KBR is going to play a much needed.
What does KBR do, and who are they?
Okay, so they have logistics contracts with the United States. They have deep histories in Iraq and Afghanistan. They get base support, supply chain management, troop sustainment, and theater. They do a lot. Basically, they just take care of the troops and logistics and commerce in warlike situations. I think that they're going to play a big role in this. I think Halliburton, who, by the way, has been in Venezuela and maintained their contract in Venezuela and kept a license with the U.S. government and with an ability to operate in Venezuela, they're going to have first mover support. So will Schlumberger. Both of those have maintained presences in Venezuela already. Dave, you're muted again, bud.
Sorry, that was me. Who's that first company? I wasn't paying attention when you were first.
Halliburton.
I heard Schlumberger.
Halliburton.
Oh, yes. Okay.
They're going to be operationally ready to support the United States. They're going to get contracts out of this. ExxonMobil's already been there for oil. ConocoPhillips has already been there. I'm sorry, no. ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips have not been there. I take that back. It's Chevron that's already pumping. So they got first movers available in oil. So I think you're going to see KBR, Halliburton, and Chevron are going to be.
So as the oil expert on the show, yep. Chevron is the only U.S. oil company that is active in the area.
There you go.
Conoco and Exxon both have been there and were both kicked out after the change in the early 2000s. Specifically, Exxon had the longest run there, and they were kicked out very early into the early 2000s. Right. And what you're talking about as far as because if we're going to stop and talk about the oil in Venezuela for a few minutes here. Yeah. Because I have a lot on it.
Well, give me a second here. ConocoPhillips is owed $10 billion by Venezuela. That was considered dead debt. They're probably going to get oil contracts from the United States in order to pay down that debt.
That was considered dead. It had a write-off. It's a tax write-off. So you're not going to get the United States is not going to give you, they'll give you a contract, but not due to that.
It's monetizing a dead asset, essentially. But here's the thing. The United States does not want Venezuela to continue defaulting on its debts. It's already basically defaulted right now. We want to get it out of that. We can't say that we're going to run the country. We can't say that we're going to run the country and then preside over a complete collapse. Right? So the debts are going to start getting paid back, I think. It's just probably not going to come, in direct cash.
So everything I have has to do with what you're talking about, and it will probably give a clearer picture. So let me go into here real quick.
Wait, hold on. Let me finish here real quick. Because I want to say the biggest winner here is going to be Venezuela. And you call me the Baron of Bonds. It's
Yes.
going to be Venezuelan bonds.
Oh,
They're trading at 10 cents on the dollar right
is the Baron back?
In the United States, you cannot currently access Venezuelan bonds because of sanctions. So sanctions are going to be lifted. You're most likely going to be able to get access to these bonds through brokers like international brokers, international business. What is that? IBK or IBR? What is that? Was that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, it's
I
IBR.
had it written down and now I can't. But you're probably going to have to go through there. So I might be opening up an IBR account and then looking
They
for.
are partnered with TD Ameritrade,
There's no
or they
ETFs
were.
on this either, but those bonds are going to be. I mean, if you could get into the market, if the bonds open up to the United States, and they open up at these distress levels, I would say below 50 cents on the dollar, then I would get into it. If you can get in now, go ahead. If you're an international listener, we have some people that listen in Switzerland. If you can buy Venezuelan bonds in Switzerland, you're probably going to have a 400% return in the next year.
I'm going to be in Switzerland here in 5 weeks. I'll buy some while I'm there.
Okay, if you can.
Keep it in a
That's what I
Swiss
had to
bank
say.
account.
That's going to be
Okay.
the big winner. But I got other winners here too. Just a couple of them that I've narrowed down. But you do your thing first.
Do my thing, he says. Do my thing. All right, so let's take it from an oil perspective. So let's talk first about the oil sector as a whole before this started. So OPEC already had a meeting plan for this weekend, and they were going to go ahead and announce whether or not they're going to do a change or not a change on Sunday after they had a quick meeting. They avoided the discussion of political crisis, i.e., Venezuela. Sunday's meeting of 8 members of the OPEC Plus group, which pumps about half of the world's oil, came after oil prices fell more than 18% in 2025. So what did they do? They decided to leave everything right where it's at, even though there's a concern about an oversupply in the world. There was a concern that there's too much oil and the price of oil keeps dropping. Like I said, cost of oil has dropped 18% over the last year. They're not concerned. They're keeping it right where they're at. And right now, here's a quote from them. Right now, oil markets are being driven by less by supply-demand fundamentals and more by political uncertainty. And OPEC Plus is clearly prioritizing stability over action. So that's where their head's at, and that's where they're focused.
Venezuela was a founding member of OPEC.
It was at one point, yes.
If it's being run by the United States, then where's that put it?
Well, the 8 countries are going to meet again on February 1st. So that's the next scheduled meeting of the OPEC Plus group. So we'll know in 1 month, where they're going to actually head again. They have a current rift going on in the OPEC group. That's mainly in between Saudi Arabia and Yemen. And UAE. And as due to the conflict in Yemen, each country, Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, are taking a different side in the conflict in Yemen, and that is creating some tension between those two. Now, Venezuela has the world's largest oil reserves. It's bigger even than those of OPEC's leader, Saudi Arabia, but its oil production has plummeted due to years of mismanagement and sanctions. Analysts say it's unlikely to see any meaningful boost to crude output for years, even if the U.S. oil majors do invest billions of dollars, which is what Trump has promised. So let's go into this then. Let's talk about that.
Let me ask this question real quick.
Go ahead.
They're going to invest billions of dollars into the oil industry of Venezuela and try to get that oil infrastructure back up and running. Where's it going to go?
It's going to go. It's going to go to some of the companies you mentioned. I don't know about KBR. Investors.
That's not going to be a KBR situation.
Yeah. Global investors are facing a fresh surge in geopolitical risks about the Venezuelan president. Donald Trump. This article here that I'm reading right now goes on to talk more about why he's presenting the case for why he did what he did. Markets were closed when the strikes took place, but had kicked off the first trading day of the year on a strong footing. U.S. Global ended 2025 near record highs, having notched double-digit gains in tumultuous year by tariff wars, central bank policy, and simmering geopolitical tensions, right? Mohammed El Arian, a former chief executive bond fund giant PIMCO, said in a post on X that the economic and financial reaction to Maduro's toppling was unclear, and that was his initial reaction. Now he says we would have probably seen an immediate decoupling of oil prices, lower on the prospect of increased Venezuelan exports, depending on the leadership succession there. From gold, higher due to safe haven flows amid heightened uncertainty had the markets been open. This is what he wrote, Mohammed El Arian, on Friday. Again, this is a guy I listen to. He's a very smart, intelligent individual when I've seen him on interviews.
If I ever start my own financial company, I'm going to name it PIMCO.
The PIMCO, right? Yes. So that was the comments he made. But since we had the weekend to digest everything, he's unsure of where we're going to see that come Monday morning. The oil price was currently above $62 a barrel in December when the U.S. blocked sanctioned tankers from entering or leaving Venezuela, but it's been fairly stable around that 60 to 62 mark for a long time. From an investment perspective, this is Brian Jacobson, Chief Economic Strategist at Annex Wealth Management. He says, from an investing perspective, this could unlock massive quantities of oil reserves over time. Markets sometimes swing into risk-off mode on expectations of conflict, but once the conflict starts, they rotate quickly to risk-on. Now, there is no conflict. The conflict is over with, is my point.
No. If we're running that country, we need peacekeeping operations.
It's not going to happen. You and I
we're going to have to have.
We can agree to disagree.
Dave, we can't run this country and then not have peacekeeping operations there.
Then
and
we're not running the country. It's fine.
We can't expect it to be a peaceful transition if we don't have people there to guarantee it.
They can do it themselves.
You think so? I don't know.
I think that's what's going to happen.
We'll see. You might be right. You could be right, but this was a failing country with failing infrastructure, failing economics, a monetization currency that had completely failed. I don't know how they do that without sending some sort of peacekeeping, at least from the UN, which is where KBR comes into play if that happens.
Yeah, if they do a UN one, then yes, KBR would be.
Because they'll provide the housing and the contingency vehicles and like just everything under the sun that like they did in Iraq.
There you go. So David Kotak, co-founder of Cumberland Advisors in Florida, said that possible unlocking of reserves, if it causes lower oil price over the long term, could have very bullish implications for stocks. So whether it happens over the next year or two, and if the market discounts it before it happens is a separate question. So he's talking about it's a separate question about when it happens, or if the market discounts it before it happens on the expectation it's going to happen. Those are two different questions and two different results and answers.
Right. Sorry, I gave you a headache, I think.
No, you're fine. And that I've seen that before on, hey, this is going to happen. Like a Fed rate cut's going to happen, so we price it in. And we buy and the market moves up. But then the Fed rate cut doesn't happen, and then the market tumbles because they said, no, we're not going to do it. So that's a smaller example of what the Kotek is talking about, saying, hey, we're going to unleash these oil reserves onto the markets. It's going to be great. It's going to drive the cost of oil down. But then what if that never happens?
Well,
it's like you're already talking in certainty. This is only day 2. There's no certainty as of yet about what is going to happen.
No, there's not. But
the only certainty is we're done. We're out of there. There are no troops on the ground. Venezuelan is in Venezuelan control.
That we know of. I mean, I'm sure we've probably got Navy ships there right now on the coast at least.
Outside, but not in their country. So.
Yeah, I just don't see how we remove a head of state, create a power vacuum, and then have nobody there to protect it, and then it all works out in the end. I just don't see that happen. I don't know. I'm not an expert on these things, Well,
all right. So most strategists agree it could take years to meaningfully boost Venezuelan output. It's just plummeted over the past decades due to mismanagement, lack of investment from foreign companies after the government nationalized oil operations in the 2000s. So the government took over assets of ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, And Chevron is the only American currently operating in Venezuela at this time. So any companies who might want to invest there would need to deal with security concerns, dilapidated infrastructure, questions about legality of the U.S. operations, and potential long-term political instability. That's what analysts have told Reuters. If you want to know who wrote this article and read in, this was by Amanda Cooper, Daria Rashsingh, and Safid Azar in Reuters. The headline is Investors Face More Geopolitical Whiplash from Trump's Venezuelan Gamble. But this is what they're saying. Stephen Dover, who's a chief market strategist and head of Franklin Templeton Institute at Franklin Templeton, who I actually own Franklin Templeton. The ticker symbol is BEN, by the way. It's a good dividend payer. Said in a LinkedIn post that the U.S. administration has shown it's willing to act unilaterally and use force when it could reinforce the trend of countries spending more on their own national security. He said it will likely add to the uncertainty of the dollar's role as a safe haven while raising further questions about the deterioration of international institutional pillars. So he's obviously against this. He doesn't like it. He went on to say, over the longer run, a more stable, productive, and prosperous Venezuelan could offer the world significant supplies of oil. That would be significant for global growth, but it would take political stability and considerable investment to unlock that potential. So he's saying the potential's there, but you have to stabilize the government and invest billions and billions of dollars.
And it's going to take years to do that. And I mean, that's why I'm kind of staying away from buying oil companies over this. But I would okay buying Schlumberger because they're going to be the immediate benefactor, as they're going to have to go in right away.
It's just fun to say it too, Schlumberger.
It is, and it's weird to spell. I don't even know.
Schlumberger.
Right. I think KBR is a buy without the Venezuela situation. Regardless, I think it's trading at a decent valuation right now. But if we do need peacekeeping troops, there's going to be two companies that get it. There's going to be KBR, which is mostly going to be port solutions and such. I think there is another company. I got to read my notes here because I'm not calling this a buy here. Here it is. Amenum. Amenum got most of South America's contract for the United States, if anything is ever needed on the ground. So a lot of that's probably going to go to Amenum, but I think KBR for contingency vehicles if they're needed, and then because they're one of the largest holders of contingency vehicles in the world, and then Port Solutions for KBR because they're already stationed in the Caribbean. So I think that's where that benefit's going to come. I think Schlumberger for the reasons we've already mentioned. I also would call this a buy. It's kind of at a premium right now, but I like the way Schlumberger runs their operations. And you're not getting paid off oil output here. You're getting paid off of them updating the infrastructure and maintaining the infrastructure.
Yeah, right? Schlumberger does not actually run the oil rigs.
They do not.
So if you ever watched that Mark Wahlberg movie that kind of really said it, Deep Horizon, if you ever watch that, you can see what kind of the role they play. They actually don't run the rigs. Other Transocean owns and runs the rigs. That's RIG, RIG. Ticker symbol is one I've talked about on the show. They own the world's two biggest oil rigs in the world is owned by Transocean and RIG. Schlumberger does maintenance services and servicing of oil rigs and oil pumps and stations. That's what their role is.
Right. Now, if we wind up running this country for years, then Lockheed Martin will be a benefactor in that. There's going to be aerial surveillance involved. The big thing here for Lockheed Martin is that F-35s were used in the bombing, and they were incredibly successful. And so basically, like, this is very unfortunate when it comes to the military-industrial complex. This bombing was a marketing campaign for Lockheed Martin. So that could provide a boost to Lockheed. But I think that KBR and Schlumberger are my top two picks here. I hate doing that with war. You know,
I do as well, but that's our role.
Yeah,
we created this podcast to give financial investment advice, and that's our role we play.
Yeah.
I don't have any calls based off what happened. I have 0 calls. I think it's going to have very little effect on the market as a whole. In fact, the Asian markets, as of right now, I checked it just 5 minutes ago. The Asian markets are all up except for Japanese Nikkei.
Right.
So the Japanese, and that has other underlying concerns there, nothing to do with Venezuela as to why they're down. But Asian markets are all positive, so that means, and Bitcoin's positive. That's typically a symbol meaning that we're going to open up either flat or positive Monday morning.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a negative thinking we're going to war. There's not.
I don't think it's
Everybody's
going to be.
assuming that this is one time done out, and
I
we're going
don't
to
think.
partner. We're going to partner with Venezuela for have them to run their own country.
Well, the vice president of Venezuela came out this morning against the attacks, which is interesting. So we'll see how that plays out. But I think she's like chilling in Russia or something like that. I think she got out.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, I don't think it's going to have a massive effect on the S&P 500. But those companies that I just mentioned, you might see an uptick in. As long as you don't have a gap up, look at buying KBR, look at buying Schlumberger. And I want to do that with the caveat that, listen, the artificial intelligence trade has been leading the market for years now. That's not going to stop this year. Your biggest gainers this year are still going to be the artificial intelligence leaders like NVIDIA, Palantir, Microsoft, Amazon, and such.
The
So
hyperscalers for AI. Yeah.
if you are wanting to buy anything, if you're not in the market at all right now, if you don't own any of the, Magnificent Seven, buy them now.
Yeah.
Your year-to-date gain at the end of the year is going to be better than anything I just mentioned, most likely.
Yeah. I agree.
All right.
As of right now, I agree. 2025 was amazing. It was ups and downs. I took a big loss last year. I had a lot of personal life things happen that made me rethink some strategies and what I'm doing with my portfolio and incomes. Overall, I had a huge positive year, which Uncle Sam's gonna love me. But gotta pay taxes. It was a great year. 2026, I don't know. We'll see. I believe in the January barometer.
I
This is
believe
something
in
I
you,
bring
Dave.
up. I bring it up every year, and Brandon tells me how it's just astrology, reading the stars, tea leaves. But it works every year, Brandon. It works, and I believe in it. And we're gonna wait and see what we do in January because that's gonna detail what we're gonna do for the year. It's too early. We just started. We haven't even had a full week yet. So let's give it some time, Brandon, before we say it's going to be a good or bad year. But I'm excited for what this year has to offer. I ended last year really going head first into options, doing $15,000 at a time in different option plays. And you can start with 1,500, $100. And I don't recommend options to anybody who has not been trading or investing in stocks for less than a year, minimum. Minimum. I would probably say two, but you need to learn a little bit about the market and how the market moves and how it can move so quickly on you that you just were like, what just happened? And understand that and understand how certain macroeconomic events can negatively or positively affect the markets within an hour.
So my year was meh. I still beat the Nasdaq. I still beat the S&P 500. I still handily
Well,
beat
of
the
course,
Russell.
you're on Chinchilla Picking. You beat everybody.
The funny thing is that like we didn't really have much of a correction last year, except for in April. That scare
Yeah.
of tariffs that happened, and that's where most of my money came from last year. But our down years, like if you're just looking at 2022 and 2023 for the S&P 500, were kind of meh years because the tariffs and higher interest rates and such. And my portfolio was way better than it is now year to date. But I
Yeah,
still beat both
2024, I think you and I
handily.
headed
So,
out of the park.
oh my goodness,
2024,
yeah.
we killed it.
And it's funny because I spend my investing time protecting myself against events like that. And now I wouldn't say I'm nervous anymore. I used to be super nervous about it,
Yeah,
like super concerned, like, oh, what if there's a recession and blah blah blah. And then I've realized that like
it happens.
I kind of want a recession.
Yeah,
Or a correction, not a deep recession where people starve and lose their houses. I don't want that, but like give me some value.
right. Give me an opportunity to buy low.
Right.
As an investor, that's what we dream of. The market dropped
Yes.
my stock I've been watching on my watch list dropped 50% today. I'm like, for no reason, just because, somebody got upset at somebody over the news. And I'm like, oh, wow, buying time.
Yeah.
Buy.
Exactly.
Love it. Yeah, I don't think we have time for me to go into my option plays and how I'm doing these options, but I will. UVXY is one that I consider. I You do a lot of option plays on. Tesla is another one I do option plays on. A couple things I look for when I do an option play is there's enough buyers and sellers. I need
Right.
enough buyers and sellers. I can't do options on things that don't have enough buyers and sellers for me. B, there's enough volatility going on that it actually is going to move 10% in a week or two, one way or another. That's what I'm looking for. Is it going to move 5 to 10% one way or another in a week or two? Because those are going to pay off the best for me. And those were the ones I'm looking for the highest rate of return. Did I get in that? So that 6 week period lasts at the end to end the year. There was 6 week period. I got 189% return on my money I set aside for option plays.
Nice.
That's fantastic. I took one loss during that time. That one loss cost me 30% on that option play.
So I haven't made 10 times my money, I don't think, since we started this podcast. And I wish I had the data for 2022, but I started Schwab at the end of November 2023. I've doubled my portfolio since then.
Oh, there
So
you
not
go.
bad. But
That's
if you
not
went
bad.
back, like I had a
That's
really
2 years. You
good
doubled
year.
in 2 years.
Yeah, I had a really good year in 2022. So I wish I had the data in front of me for that because that
Yeah.
would be even better. But
It is what it is, man. It is
yeah.
what it is. All right. All right. So, welcome to the new year, 2026. If you have any questions for us, I want you guys to ask us. DM us, reach out to us. I'm going to be more active on TikTok and Instagram. Hopefully, Brandon might do a post on TikTok. Just throwing it out there. Might do a post on TikTok or Instagram. He has access to both of those. Right now, I'm the only one on TikTok. So, Brandon sometimes might. Well, actually, you've been on TikTok a couple times.
Yeah, I get on TikTok and then Twitter and all that.
But Instagram, I am definitely the only one who answers on Instagram. So reach out to us. We'll answer whatever we can. And if we don't have the answer, we'll get back to you and we'll let you know when we're going to get back to you.
Just, I mean, because most of everybody has X, right?
Yeah.
It's the Chinchilla Picking Podcast. It's
There
easy.
you go. The Chinchilla Picking Podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Brandon, final thoughts.
Yeah, the artificial intelligence trade is going to continue to rule, and don't listen to the people that talk about, oh, they're trading out of the tech trade. The tech trade, cycling out of it. Financials are going to win this year. No, come on, that never happens. They've said it about the Magnificent Seven for like 15 years, and it's never been the case, and it's not going to be the case again this year. Stick with Nvidia. Stick with them. Stick with them.
I'm
Don't sell
rolling and laughing here. This is too funny.
There you go.
The financials. When is the financials beating any sector, man? I mean, they're off. I mean, they make money. They grow, but they're such slow growers.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're a long-term investment. The Goldman Sachs is up 10 times if you bought in 2007. So that's a great return, yes. Yeah. But you have to hold it almost 20 years.
Right.
So I mean, they grow, but not at if you're looking for bigger rates of return. I mean, if you want that growth 10 times your money in 10 years, sure, put it in. You'll make good money. Why not? But I want something that's going to make me more money. So,
I want a balanced portfolio, but I want I want to overweight it in the in the Magnificent Seven. I still want that overweighted. And what's funny, doubling my portfolio over the course of about 2 years, Dave, I'm probably the most conservative investor you know.
Yes, 100%.
And they always say time in the market is greater than timing the market. And quite frankly, it's both. You don't have to time exact bottom. You don't need to time an exact bottom. But if you're buying on these dips and these corrections and such, then you're doing better than everybody else.
Yeah.
It's
a good mixture of all this. You can't just have one point of view and one way of doing all of it, is what I've learned over the years. I could sit here and write books and talk speeches about always just doing it this one way, one point, and half the time I'm going to be right. That doesn't mean that one way is the only way to do it or that's the perfect way to do it. That just means, half the time it works. So if you have a good mix and a good balance to it, and that goes with life, just have a good balance on things, then it's gonna work out for you, you know. And don't be like as you make money, and I hope everybody here who's listening to us is making money and investing well. And if you're not, ask questions, read books, ask us questions. I don't know if I repeated that enough this time. Not enough people ask us questions, but then they will comment on to us when things don't go right. But I'm like, you never asked a question, but you said you've been listening to
Right,
us for 3 months. Ask us a
right,
question. We will answer.
right. And,
Um,
and
you
don't
know,
just be like, oh, Brandon said to buy so and so stock. Keep
yeah,
the reasons in
Disney.
mind as to why I said that. That way, if those reasons fall apart, you know when to sell.
Yes.
Or if those reasons are getting better and they're adding to it, then you know when to buy more.
There you go.
There you go.
So yes, as we look into 2026, let's come up with a good plan. Let's set some goals, realistic, achievable goals that actually challenge you a little bit. You don't want them to be easy. You want them to challenge you. So set some goals and then work out each month where you need to be in order to reach that goal. And then work it out each week where you need to be in order to reach that goal. And then what do you need to do today to reach that goal?
Right.
And set those goals and let's have those goals set so we can achieve these things together. I'm going to try to give little things, bits of advice, or even just encouragement if I can on our social medias daily if I can. If I don't have anything stock related, it's going to be an encouraging thought or a different thought about different things. I know Saturday was about being consistent and disciplined because last year I lost 90 pounds, and where I'm going forward this year with weight loss in my financials and investing is going to stay the course and keep doing that because that worked for me and I enjoy it. I enjoy my life now. Let's all encourage Brandon to join me in the gym. So
I have
that's our
set a
goal.
goal for myself to go from one cigar a week to two cigars a week, and I am almost there.
It's not good. It's Brandon, I love you, brother. Yeah. All right. Well, anyways, thanks for listening, guys. Please hit that subscribe button anytime you can. Tell your friends and family all about us. As always, we hope we've been entertaining, educational, and uplifting because we want everyone to make money. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Management, lack of investment.